Guys, welcome back to another vlog with me. It's K2B Karen, and in today's vlog we're going to look into grad house. So that's one of the residences that we have in our university. It's one of the residences that I have, and I think it would be really nice for me to create a vlog because I knew a lot of people really enjoyed all the other residence vlogs that I had. So I decided to take some of my time out today just to show you what it looks like in grad house. So currently I'm standing kind of like on the second floor. So I'm not going to go exactly from the beginning. We're going to have like a tour, but it's kind of going to be a little bit more scattered. It's going to be a little bit more different from all the other residence vlogs that I've done before. Before I've continued, make sure that you actually go to my Instagram and go subscribe if you haven't subscribed. So very interesting thing about grad house is that there's so many graduate students who actually live in grad house. So it's usually your undergrad students or just graduate students in general. So where I'm currently standing, you can see behind me, it's kind of like a classroom kind of feeling. So you get this kind of like on the second floor of your grad house. And from here, you can have such a lovely view as well. So I'm just going to show you that in a second. So this is kind of like the view you'll have. So just from the top floor, you're going to see this is kind of like the classroom view you're going to get. Right, so it's very nice and sweet, and just over here you can see your college quarters. So this is kind of like the Aspen Hall. It gives you a very nice view. So this is kind of where we are. The whole purpose of this classroom is, again, because this entire building is for upper undergrad students or master degree students. So it gives everybody a very nice feeling to, come over here, relax, and do a little bit of work or group studying or research or whatever you have to do. Just from the other side as well, you can see the connected building of the grad house. So there's going to be more residences you can see. So I'd say in terms of the window space, it's quite beautiful. So that's going to be Seeger just over there. So I'm just going to make that a little bit more clear. So that's Seeger just right there. So this is one of the places that I usually come into when I want to get some work done in terms of like teamwork or group projects that I have. Currently, this is what it looks like. You have a very decent projector and a visual representation of how, if you wanted to project something, for example. So now we're just going to continue our tour ahead. Okay, so just continuing on the first, you could call this the second floor. This is a very nice window view that you can get. And just over here, you're going to see we have more windows. So this grad house is specifically very nice because you get a lot of nice views, I would say. It's very beautiful. There's just a couple of rooms. I'm just going to keep my volume a little bit low because I don't want to disturb people around. But this is what it looks like in terms of its interior looks. I'm not sure if you ever looked into one of my Holiday Inn vlogs. It's very similar. And this is really how it looks like. You can take a look. So basically, this is kind of like the corridor, and you're going to put in your key card, and this is kind of like your door. You would also have a hole just to take a look if someone is outside your door. And this is kind of like the emergency exit kind of area for you in case there is an emergency. So we're just going to continue ahead. I just want to remind you that this vlog is not going to be very structured. It's a little bit more scattered. The whole point of this vlog is to show you what it looks like from the inside. It gives you a good idea if you would be willing to live into this residence, and it gives you a good taste of what the interior looks like, because I understand that sometimes, I'm just going to shift the camera to my way. So I understand that sometimes the university website does not give you a lot of information. So I just feel like this would be a very good way for you to understand what does the interior part looks like. So just from the second floor here, this is how my residence looks like, just from the very bottom. So you're just going to be able to see a couple of chairs. I will take you downstairs as well, but I just wanted to show you what does the second floor look like. So now we're going to head towards the lounge over there. Okay, so this is kind of like your lounge space. I just want to show you how this looks like. So you're going to have very nice kind of like a setting of like tables and chairs, and you have this very nice view of your outer part, which you can see from the opposite side. It's college quarter. They've got some very nice light settings as well. Usually this is more crowded I have just been very lucky to come at a time where it's a little bit more quiet. So you're going to see just from the outside, we have a very nice view. And again, I want to mention how Grad House is very well known for its beautiful appearance in terms of like the windows and how things look like. You're going to notice that my voice is slightly lower at this point because I just don't want to disturb the people living in the residence. It's a very quiet residence, I would say, but the lounge is kind of like the place where, there's kind of like the noise and everything. So there's a couple of TV remotes that, you can use to turn on your TV and adjust it as you will. And of course, this entire residence is heated, so it's a very nice residence, especially when it's really cold outside. You cannot really adjust the temperature because you're going to notice that it is locked. So that's something that's not allowed. But you have a very nice slab of table in case you want to keep a couple of things while you're sitting at the lounge maybe. I'm just going to walk you through as we go ahead. Okay, so as we go ahead, we're just going to be seeing a little bit more rooms. This is what it looks like. So you're going to see this is again the corridor, and then we have the rooms side by side. Just wanted to let you know I'm not going to show you any individual rooms. That's mainly because privacy issues, and I didn't want to show my own personal one as well. So I'm just giving you an exterior view of what this looks like. So this is kind of like the garbage area in case you need to throw rubbish outside. And again, there's a little bit more exit doors. So this is kind of like the second floor, considering the ground floor is the first floor. So this is kind of like your second floor. Again, you have a very nice view of College Quarter. Down there, you can park your bicycles if you need to. And from here, you also have a very good view. I also want to say that during winter time, it's always nice to have a good view before you step outside, which I think Grad House has. I think you have a very nice view before you step outside to have a very good idea of how much snow is falling down. And I think that's something that, if you were living in Seeger, it might not give you a very good opportunity to realize, but in Grad House, you have this opportunity, and you can take a look at the sky. It's very beautiful. And we're going to go to the third floor. All right, so just taking the third floor, and this is what it looks like. So I've used the staircase and just came to the third floor. Again, you have a very nice lounge, so there's like a TV. Such a beautiful view again, very nice view. And that's like the connected building of Grad House. And this is actually the English Learning Center. But that's not the purpose of my vlog. So I just wanted to show you, this is another view that you can get from Grad House. It's kind of like the back part of it. This is what Grad House looks like in terms of the lounge on the third floor. And we're just gonna make our way ahead into the corridor now, just that way there. This is kind of like the third floor of the Grad House, and I'm just currently walking up the corridor, so I'm going to show you what that looks like. I'm just going to flip my camera on the other side. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Again, rooms and the same usual stuff. Nothing too special, but I think the most interesting thing was the lounge that I wanted to show you. And as I've mentioned previously, this is kind of, this is kind of like the place where you can kind of have a very nice view of the houses. So this is a different one. This is, I believe it would be Wollaston Hall. And if we just move a little bit towards the side, that's going to be your Seeger. Okay, so now we're just going to continue walking ahead, and I'm just going to take you through the elevator. So we're just going to click that top button very gently, and that's going to be our elevator. Just making our way through. This is your fourth floor. This is what your lounge looks like on the fourth floor. So again, there's like, your chairs, your remotes, and your TV. And you have a very nice, well-furnished carpet, and everything looks amazing. This kind of gives you the view towards the other side of the Grad House. I also want to mention that when you live in Grad House, it might be relatively more pricier than Grad House itself. But the very nice thing about it, so you can see a cute little bird on the very top there. But the very nice thing about Grad House is that you get the opportunity to have your RCC. So RCC is kind of like, Okay, so RCC is kind of like the amount of money that you would have for your food. So it would be for your marquees. Yeah, so that's really nice because when you're in a grad house, you have something called as a RCC. So you could use RCC. So that's the amount of money you get to spend into like your meal halls, for example. So I think that's a very good advantage of living in grad house. And at the same time, you have such a nice view of different lounges and things like that. So I highly recommend living in grad house. I personally think it's a really good residence, and it's, I would say, one of the best residences that we have on campus. So this was the 4th floor lounge. I'm going to take you towards the 5th floor, and that's about it. So this residence in total has about 5 floors, and I really do hope that, you know, this residence vlog kind of gives you a good idea of what to expect when you're coming into this residence, and it gives you a good decent idea of whether it's worth it in terms of the amount of money you're spending, or the amount of time that you will be spending at the university. But yeah, and if you have any questions in regards to that, I think I would definitely most likely and most willingly be happy to answer. So feel free to mention down in the comment section below if you have any specific questions about this residence. And before I end the vlog, I'm going to show you the 5th floor, and that's going to be it for today's. Okay, one more thing just before I continue, I want to mention that every floor kind of has this kind of information sheet. So it kind of tells you, you know, stuff, and it makes you feel very comfortable and home-like. So it gives you various phone numbers that you can use and information and things like that. So that's very nice. It is very similar to CQ actually, which is College Quarter, where the RAs, which is known as the residence assistants, I believe. So the RAs are basically students, and they work in the residence building, and they kind of ensure that students are having a very nice experience while they are here at the residence. And this is usually created by the RAs, and it's very nice and homecoming kind of information. Makes you feel like home, basically. So again, this is kind of like the view, so it gives you a good view of the parking lot. And we're just going to walk ourselves ahead. So the floor kind of has the same kind of outlook. So when you come out of your elevator, this is one side of it, and this is the other side. So I'd say the 4th and the 5th floor are very similar in nature. It's just your 2nd and the 3rd one is slightly different, and the 1st floor, which I usually consider as the ground floor, is considered 1st floor. So I will show you that just after I show you the lounge available in this floor specifically. So we're just making our way ahead towards the lounge. Very similar setting, I would say. So just at the very top, you can see the solar panels actually in CQ. So this is kind of like the topmost floor at grad house that you will have, and you will notice that this building is a little bit more higher than College Quarter itself. So that's kind of like the view you will have, and you know, of course, every lounge has a recycling bin, and it has your chairs, remotes, and your TV. Okay. Usually they also put in a little notice to remind you of, you know, your behavior and discipline when using the lounges. Of course, you can adjust the lighting as you wish. I think currently it's turned off. So if you turn, I guess the lights are not working for some reason. Maybe it's because we're at that time of the year where, you know, it's not a lot of people living, but when it comes into full-fledged speed, you know, of course, those things will start to work. But yeah, this is kind of like what the view looks like on the 5th floor specifically. Okay, so I hope this kind of, you know, gave you a very good idea of what grad house looks like. What we're going to do now is I'm going to show you what does the very bottom ground floor looks like, and I really hope that. Alright, so we kind of made it to the ground floor. I'm just going to show you what that looks like. Okay, so this is kind of like the mailbox area, so you can take a look. That's what it looks like in general. And this is kind of like your elevator kind of area. You can also use the ground floor. There's more rooms in this direction. And if you go further ahead, you're going to see the washrooms. So we have ground floor washrooms available. Just at the ground floor, you're going to notice the laundry. Okay, so let's take a look. I'm just going to see if anyone's inside. Hopefully not. Okay, so this is what your laundry looks like. So in general, you have your washers. So be aware, this is kind of like in your ground floor. So I hope, you kind of don't get lost. So this is kind of your washers, okay? Very similar to all the other residences. These are your dryers, which are relatively smaller, I would say. And those rooms are specifically for janitors, and that's your recycling bin. We have specific basins in. Okay everybody, so this was kind of like grad house. This is what it looks like. So I kind of showed you the interior part. I really hope you found this vlog helpful. And that's kind of like the exterior part. You can take a look from behind. So that's what it looks like. I really hope you found this vlog very, very helpful. And I was just out of my way. Like I just came out of my own residence and I just wanted to show you what it looks like. So I hope you found this helpful. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, share it with your friends and whoever you think might find this helpful. And I really hope you actually found this helpful, because the entire point of this was, to kind of introduce you to what the interior parts of the residences kind of look like. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to mention it in the comment section below. I will be creating more vlogs, so please stay tuned. And if you want to subscribe, feel free to do that. So that actually gives you a very good view. So that's kind of like the front part, and that's kind of like the back part of your grad house. So I hope you found this helpful. And yeah, till then, I'll see you in another vlog. Take care. Bye.